What if I told you that at this very moment a ticking time bomb is lurking in space? One so powerful, it could wipe out life on Earth in an instant. No, it's not an asteroid or a rogue planet, it's something far more explosive. A supernova. These stellar explosions unleash more energy in seconds than our sun will produce in its entire lifetime. But how close would one have to be to actually end us? And are there any stars near Earth that are on the edge of destruction? Buckle up because this is about to get intense. What is a supernova? Imagine this, a massive star, burning bright for millions of years, suddenly explodes with the force of 1 billion nuclear bombs. One moment it's there, shining in the night sky, and the next, boom! It erupts in a spectacular explosion, outshining entire galaxies. That, my friends, is a supernova, one of the most powerful and destructive events in the universe. But why does this happen? Well, stars aren't immortal. They live, they burn, and eventually they die. When a massive star at least 8 times the size of our sun runs out of fuel, it can no longer hold itself together. Gravity takes over, crushing the core in an instant. This triggers an explosion so powerful that it sends shockwaves across space, scattering elements that will later form new stars, planets, and even life itself. And get this, supernovae are the reason we exist. The iron in your blood, the calcium in your bones, even the gold in your jewelry, all came from the heart of an exploding star. Pretty wild, right? But here's the real question. Could a supernova wipe out life on Earth? How close would it need to be? And are there any ticking time bombs lurking in our cosmic neighborhood? Stick around because things are about to get even crazier. Potential threat to Earth. Alright, let's get to the big question. Could a supernova actually wipe us out? The short answer, yes, but only if it's close enough. The real danger zone is about 25 light-years from Earth. If a star within this range explodes, we could be in serious trouble. But how exactly? First, say goodbye to the ozone layer, our planet's protective shield against harmful space radiation. A nearby supernova would blast Earth with high-energy gamma rays and X-rays, stripping away the ozone like peeling off a fragile layer of skin. And once that's gone, deadly ultraviolet rays from the sun would flood the surface, increasing radiation levels and mutating DNA. Imagine crops failing, ecosystems collapsing, and a world suddenly more hostile to life. And that's not even the worst part. Supernovae also unleash a cosmic tsunami of charged particles, bombarding Earth's atmosphere for thousands of years. This could disrupt weather patterns, trigger climate shifts, and even spark mass extinctions, just like the ones that might have happened millions of years ago. So, should we be worried? Well, let's just say we're keeping an eye on a few stars that could go boom any day now. And trust me, you'll want to know which ones are on that list. Historical supernovae. Believe it or not, Earth has already been hit by the echoes of supernovae, and the evidence is hiding right beneath our feet. Scientists have discovered traces of iron-60, a rare radioactive isotope, buried deep in ocean sediments and Antarctic ice. Why is this important? Because iron-60 doesn't naturally occur on Earth, it comes from exploding stars. Around 2 to 3 million years ago, a series of supernovae went off just 150 light-years away, practically next door in cosmic terms. These blasts likely showered Earth with radiation, possibly triggering climate changes, and even contributing to an ancient marine extinction. Imagine massive cosmic waves of energy sweeping across space, subtly reshaping life as we know it. And let's not forget the supernova of 1054 AD, one of the brightest cosmic events ever witnessed by humans. Ancient Chinese and Arab astronomers recorded a mysterious guest star that shone so brightly, it was visible in daylight for weeks. That explosion left behind the famous Crab Nebula, a swirling remnant still expanding today. So while we've never experienced a doomsday-level supernova, the scars of past stellar explosions are all around us, in the rocks, in the sky, and maybe even in our own evolutionary history. The real question is, when's the next one coming? Current nearby supernova candidates. Alright, here's the big question. Are there any stars out there just waiting to explode? The answer, yes. And some of them are closer than you'd like. Let's start with the most famous ticking time bomb, Betelgeuse. You've seen it before, it's the bright reddish star in Orion's shoulder. And guess what? It's on its last breath. Astronomers have been watching it closely because it's been dimming unpredictably, which could mean it's getting ready to go boom! But before you panic, Betelgeuse is about 640 light-years away, too far to hurt us when it finally explodes. But when it does, it'll shine so brightly that we could see it during the day for weeks. Another dangerous suspect? Eta Carinae. This monster star, 100 times the mass of the Sun, has already had a near-explosion event in the 1800s. It's unstable, unpredictable, and one of the best candidates for the next supernova in our galaxy. The good news? It's 7,500 light-years away. A safe distance, but still close enough to be spectacular. So, should we be worried? Not yet. The most dangerous supernova would have to be within 25 light-years to really mess with Earth, and right now, we don't have any stars in that danger zone. But the universe is full of surprises, and space is a very unpredictable place. Frequency of dangerous supernovae. So, how often does a supernova actually threaten Earth? Should we be looking up at the sky in fear, waiting for the next cosmic explosion to wipe us out? The good news? Not really. The bad news? It has happened before. Astronomers estimate that a supernova explodes somewhere in the Milky Way about once every 50 years. But for a supernova to be close enough to harm Earth, meaning within 25 light-years, that's much, much rarer. Studies suggest that an extinction-level supernova happens only once every 100 million years or so. That's about the same frequency as major asteroid impacts. So, while it's possible, it's not something we need to lose sleep over. The last time Earth might have felt the effects of a nearby supernova was around 2 to 3 million years ago. Some researchers believe it played a role in cooling the planet, and even influencing early human evolution. But as far as a true civilization-ending event, it's unlikely to happen in our lifetimes. So, while the idea of a nearby supernova wiping us out is terrifying, the universe isn't that cruel, at least not yet. But hey, space is full of surprises, and we're just tiny passengers on this cosmic ride. Gamma-ray bursts. Alright, forget supernovae for a second. There's something even scarier lurking in the universe. Something so powerful, it could wipe out life on Earth in seconds without warning. Meet the gamma-ray burst. Gamma-ray bursts are like supercharged cosmic death rays. When some massive stars explode or when two neutron stars collide, they unleash an ultra-powerful beam of radiation that can travel across galaxies. If Earth were ever caught in the crosshairs of one, game over. Unlike a regular supernova, which mostly affects its surroundings, a GRB fires a focused beam of deadly gamma radiation in a straight line, frying everything in its path. If one of these bursts hit Earth, it could strip away the ozone layer, exposing us to lethal UV radiation from the sun. Within days, crops would fail, ecosystems would collapse, and mass extinctions could begin. Scary, right? The good news? Most GRBs happen in distant galaxies, far from us. The bad news? If a GRB were to erupt within 6,000 light-years of Earth and its beam was pointed our way, we'd have zero warning. 1 second life is normal, the next the planet is bathed in deadly radiation. So, are we safe? For now. But space is unpredictable and the universe isn't exactly known for playing fair. So, should we be worried about a supernova wiping us out? Probably not anytime soon. But the universe is full of surprises and space is far more unpredictable than we think. One thing's for sure, our planet is just a tiny speck in a vast, explosive cosmos. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the mysteries of space, make sure to subscribe to InnoVision Tech for more mind-blowing science and futuristic tech content. Hit that like button, drop a comment, and let's keep exploring the universe together. Have you ever wondered what would happen if the sun just vanished? No explosion, no warning, just gone in an instant. Sounds like something out of science fiction, right? But let's think about it. For 8 minutes everything would seem normal. Then, darkness, no sunrise, no warmth, just a world plunged into an eternal night. And that's only the beginning. Earth would break free from orbit, drifting into space. Temperatures would plummet, turning our planet into a frozen wasteland. Life would collapse, and humans, well, we'd have to fight against impossible odds to survive. So could we make it? Or would this be the beginning of the end? Let's find out. The first 8 minutes. Imagine this. One moment, the sun is shining, warming your skin, lighting up the sky, and then poof, it vanishes, just gone. No explosion, no warning. But here's the weird part, nothing changes. For 8 minutes and 20 seconds, Earth keeps spinning, birds keep flying, and the internet still works. Why? Because the sun's light and gravitational pull take time to reach us, exactly 8 minutes and 20 seconds at the speed of light. So, for that brief window, everything appears normal. The sun still looks like it's right there in the sky, but then, everything changes. Suddenly the world plunges into total darkness. No sunset, no twilight, just instant, all-consuming blackness. The sky, a gaping void, even the moon disappears because, guess what? It only shines by reflecting sunlight. And then gravity lets go. Earth has been locked in a gravitational dance with the sun for 4.5 billion years, but now, the music stops. No more central force holding us in orbit. We don't feel it, but at this exact moment our planet stops curving around the sun and shoots off into space, like a car suddenly skidding off a racetrack. But there's no panic, no alarms, no immediate disasters. For now, the only thing people notice is the pitch-black darkness, a night with no dawn. And in this eerie, unnatural silence, one terrifying thought starts creeping in. Something is very wrong. Earth breaks free. Imagine floating in space, untethered, weightless, completely free. Sounds peaceful, right? Now imagine Earth doing the same thing. But at 67,000 miles per hour. The moment the sun disappears, so does its gravitational pull. For over 4.5 billion years, the sun has held Earth in its invisible grip, keeping us locked in orbit like a cosmic leash. But now, that leash just snaps. At first, nothing feels different. You don't feel the planet moving, just like you don't feel it speeding through space right now. But make no mistake, Earth is now a runaway spaceship, no longer bound to its familiar orbit. Where do we go? Straight ahead. For billions of years we've been following a curved path around the sun, but with no sun pulling us in, we stop curving. Instead we shoot off in a straight line, hurtling into the void. Imagine spinning a ball on a string, then suddenly cutting the string. That's us now. A lonely frozen marble drifting deeper into space. The moon? It sticks with us, for now. Since Earth's gravity still exists, the moon keeps orbiting like nothing happened. But over time, without the sun stabilizing things, the moon's orbit could become chaotic. It might spiral closer, or drift away forever. And here's where it gets terrifying. As Earth speeds into the abyss, we leave behind something irreplaceable. The one thing that has always been our anchor. The solar system, our home, fades behind us. We are no longer part of it. We are alone. Instant darkness. Imagine flipping a switch and turning off the sun. 1 second it's bright and warm, the next? Total, absolute darkness. No sunset, no gradual dimming, just an instant void, swallowing the sky whole. The moon? Gone. It only shines because it reflects sunlight, so now it's just a dead, invisible rock drifting through space. The blue sky? It vanishes too. Without sunlight scattering through the atmosphere, our world is suddenly cloaked in an eerie, star-speckled blackness, even during what should have been midday. But here's the weird part, not everything goes dark immediately. For a few hours the outer planets, Jupiter, Saturn, Neptune, Uranus, will still glow faintly. Why? Because they were far enough away that the last rays of sunlight are still traveling toward them. It's like watching fireworks. After the explosion, you still see the light for a moment before it fades. And then there's Earth itself. Cities? They still glow with artificial lights, street lamps, neon signs, flickering TVs. But out in nature, everything feels unnatural. Even if you light a fire, it doesn't feel the same. Shadows don't stretch the way they used to. There's no golden warmth, no dawn on the horizon, and the stars, they look different. With no sun overpowering them, the night sky is now insanely bright. You'd see distant galaxies, nebulae, maybe even planets from other solar systems. A beautiful sight if it weren't for the chilling realization that this is it. This is forever. Earth becomes a giant freezer. Darkness is one thing. Cold? That's a whole different nightmare. Without the sun's warmth, Earth becomes a dying ember in space. The heat we once took for granted now slipping away, second by second. The first day? Not too bad. The temperature drops, but thanks to our atmosphere trapping some heat, it's still survivable. Maybe you grab an extra blanket, turn up the heater and think, this isn't so bad. But by the end of the first week, you step outside and feel a deathly chill, colder than the coldest Antarctic winter. The average global temperature has plunged to around -73 degrees Celsius, or -100 degrees Fahrenheit. The air bites. Your breath turns to frost the moment it leaves your mouth. Rivers freeze, lakes turn to solid ice. And the ocean? It's starting to freeze too. At first, only the surface forms a thick, glassy layer of ice. But below, the water remains liquid, for now. The deep ocean holds onto heat like a massive thermal battery, buying time before the inevitable. But time is running out. Within a year, the entire planet is a frozen wasteland. The surface temperature drops to minus 200 degrees Celsius, so cold that even the air itself begins to change. Oxygen and nitrogen start to liquefy, coating the ground in a thin, eerie layer of frozen gas. The sky, empty, silent, lifeless. Earth is no longer a home, it's a drifting ice ball tumbling deeper into the void, and unless we find a way to escape, we're going down with it. The end of life. Life is resilient, but without the sun, it's on a ticking clock. Within days, plants start dying. No sunlight means no photosynthesis, the process that keeps them alive. First, the leaves wither, then, the forests go silent. No buzzing insects, no rustling leaves, just stillness. A world that was once alive is now starving. Within weeks, the food chain collapses. Herbivores, deer, rabbits, even insects begin dying off. Predators hold out a little longer, scavenging whatever's left. But with every meal, they're simply delaying the inevitable. Soon there's nothing left to hunt. Humans? We're resourceful, but this isn't just a food crisis. It's a fight against the cold. Even with stockpiled supplies, even in heated shelters, every breath outside freezes in your lungs. Cities turn into ghost towns, buried under layers of ice. Electricity grids fail, and slowly, one by one, fires burn out. But here's where things get strange. Not everything dies. Deep below Earth's surface, some life doesn't even notice the sun is gone. Creatures in hydrothermal vents, blind shrimp, bacteria, and deep-sea worms thrive in the scalding heat from the Earth's core. They don't need sunlight, they never did. Microbes living in deep caves trapped under glaciers or buried beneath the ocean floor, they could survive for centuries, maybe even longer. Earth's surface may be frozen solid, but underground, life still clings on. The real question is, how long can we? Could humans survive? Humans are survivors. We've conquered ice ages, deserts, and disasters. But could we survive the death of the sun? At first, yes. Governments would declare emergencies and people would retreat indoors using backup power, stockpiled food, and whatever warmth they could find. Underground bunkers, nuclear power plants, and geothermal energy sources would become humanity's last hope. But let's be real, this is just buying time. The biggest problem? Food. Without sunlight, crops die. Livestock starves. Canned goods and frozen food last for months, maybe years, but eventually supplies run out. Hydroponic farms and lab-grown meat could keep some people alive, but only for so long. A long-term food source? That's a problem no one can solve. Then there's the cold. Even with heating, temperatures outside drop below survivable levels. Oceans freeze, air becomes too thin to breathe, and every step outside is a death sentence. Cities crumble under the weight of ice. Power plants fail, and nuclear reactors eventually shut down. Maybe a few thousand people survive in deep underground shelters, heated by the Earth's core. Maybe they last centuries, using technology, rationing supplies, and clinging to life, but at some point, Earth will be too cold, too airless, too dead to sustain us. The only real hope? Leaving. But with no sun, space travel is nearly impossible. No gravity assist, no energy source, no safe destination. Earth was always our home, but without the sun, it's just our tomb. So what do you think? Could humanity survive without the sun, or would Earth become a lifeless, frozen rock drifting through space? One thing's for sure, we owe everything to our star. If you enjoyed this mind-bending scenario, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to InnoVision Tech for more fascinating science and technology explorations. Got a wild what-if question? Drop it in the comments, we might cover it next. Until then, stay curious, stay innovative, and keep exploring the unknown. What if right now, in another universe, you're living a completely different life? Maybe you're a famous actor, a billionaire, or even an astronaut exploring a distant planet. Sounds crazy, right? But what if science says it's possible? The idea of parallel universes isn't just science fiction, it's something real physicists are actually exploring. But here's the big question. If alternate realities exist, could we ever travel between them? Could déjà vu be a glitch between worlds? Stick around, because we're about to dive into one of the biggest mysteries of the universe, and you might never see reality the same way again. The multiverse concept. Have you ever stopped to think, what if there's another version of you, right now, living a completely different life? Maybe in some alternate reality you're a famous musician, a billionaire, or even an astronaut exploring Mars. Sounds crazy, right? But hold on. Science suggests that this idea might not be as far-fetched as it seems. The multiverse theory proposes that our universe is just one of many, an infinite number of realities where every possible version of your life plays out. In one universe, you might have taken that job offer you turned down. In another, you never even existed. It's like a cosmic choose-your-own-adventure book, but every choice actually happens in a separate universe. Why does this idea matter? Well, if alternate universes exist, it changes everything we know about reality, fate, and free will. What if our dreams, déjà vu moments, or gut feelings are actually glimpses of another version of ourselves living in a parallel world? What if those unexplained coincidences, meeting a stranger who feels oddly familiar, or predicting an event before it happens, aren't coincidences at all? The possibility of an alternate universe isn't just science fiction. Physicists, mathematicians, and even philosophers have spent years trying to crack this mystery. Could it be that we are just scratching the surface of something far bigger than we can comprehend? Buckle up, because the journey into the multiverse is about to get a lot deeper. Scientific theories of parallel universes. Okay, so let's get one thing straight. This isn't just wild imagination. There are actual scientific theories that hint at the existence of multiple universes, and they come from some of the brightest minds in physics. One of the biggest ideas? The many worlds interpretation. This comes straight from quantum mechanics, the branch of physics that deals with the tiny, bizarre world of particles. According to this theory, every time a decision is made, every single choice, no matter how small, the universe splits into multiple realities where every possible outcome actually happens. Right now, in some alternate universe, another version of you picked a different career, moved to another country, or even skipped watching this video. Then there's the cosmic inflation theory. Ever heard of the Big Bang? Scientists believe that during the very early moments of our universe, it expanded at an insane rate, like a balloon inflating super fast. This theory suggests that different parts of space might have inflated at different speeds, creating separate independent universes, each with its own laws of physics. That means somewhere out there could be a universe where gravity works differently, where light travels at a different speed, or where time itself doesn't even exist. And get this, some researchers even believe that black holes might be portals to other universes. When something falls into a black hole, it gets crushed into oblivion. Or does it? Some theories suggest that instead of being destroyed, that matter is actually transported to another universe entirely. So what does this all mean? If these theories hold up, then parallel universes might not just be possible, they might be inevitable. The real question is, will we ever find a way to travel between them? Implications of alternate realities. Now, here's where things get personal. If alternate universes really exist, then who are you? Are you just one version of yourself out of an infinite number of possibilities? Think about it. If there are multiple realities where different versions of you exist, does that mean your identity isn't as unique as you thought? Let's say you made a life-changing decision a few years ago. Maybe you quit your job, moved to a new city, or broke up with someone. According to the multiverse theory, in another universe, there's a version of you who made the opposite choice. That version of you might be living a completely different life right now. Maybe they're thriving, maybe they're struggling, but either way they exist. This also raises the question, how much of our lives are actually in our control? If every possible choice creates a new reality, then, technically, every version of your life is happening somewhere. Does that mean free will is just an illusion? Or does it mean that every decision, no matter how small, matters more than we ever realized? And here's something even weirder. What if we sometimes feel these alternate versions of ourselves? Have you ever experienced a moment where you knew something was going to happen before it did? Or felt an unexplainable connection to a place you've never been before? What if those are glimpses of another reality bleeding into our own? If alternate universes exist, then your entire sense of self might be way more complicated than you ever imagined. Maybe you're not just you, you're part of something much, much bigger. Cultural and philosophical perspectives. The idea of parallel universes isn't just a scientific curiosity, it's something that has fascinated humans for centuries. Across cultures, religions, and philosophies, there have always been stories about other versions of reality. Take Hinduism and Buddhism, for example. Both traditions talk about the idea of multiple worlds and different versions of existence. In some interpretations, karma doesn't just affect your next life. It could also play out across multiple realities at once. Could these ancient beliefs be an early glimpse into what science is now exploring? Then there's philosophy. Ever heard of the what-if paradox? It's the idea that every decision creates an alternate path. Some philosophers believe that every choice we make splits reality, which means infinite realities exist, each one shaped by a different version of your past decisions. Sound familiar? That's basically the many worlds interpretation, but through the lens of philosophy instead of physics. And of course, we see the idea of alternate realities everywhere in pop culture. From Marvel's Multiverse of Madness to Stranger Things, from Rick and Morty to Interstellar, the concept of multiple universes is a storytelling goldmine. Why? Because deep down we all wonder, what if my life had gone differently? But here's the real kicker. What if these stories aren't just fiction? What if we're drawn to these ideas because on some subconscious level we know there's truth to them? Maybe, just maybe, the reason we love stories about parallel universes is because our minds are already connected to them in ways we don't fully understand yet. Technological advances. Alright, let's get to the big question. Can we actually prove that alternate universes exist? Right now, we can't exactly hop into a spaceship and visit Earth 2, or shake hands with an alternate version of ourselves, but that doesn't mean scientists aren't trying. One of the most exciting areas of research is quantum computing. Unlike regular computers which use bits, quantum computers use qubits, which can exist in multiple states at once. Some physicists believe that this strange behavior hints at parallel worlds interacting with our own at the microscopic level. Could quantum computers one day help us access these other realities? Then there's the Large Hadron Collider, the massive particle accelerator beneath Switzerland. Some scientists speculate that high-energy particle collisions could create tiny, mini black holes, which might provide evidence of other dimensions or universes. In other words, we might be closer than we think to unlocking the secrets of the multiverse. And let's talk about dark matter, the mysterious invisible substance that makes up most of the universe but doesn't interact with light. Some scientists believe that dark matter could be leaking in from parallel universes. Imagine that. What if an entire hidden reality is right next to us, but we just don't have the tools to see it yet? The bottom line? We might be on the verge of one of the biggest discoveries in history. If alternate universes exist, science will find a way to prove it. And who knows? Maybe one day, we'll find a way to travel between them. The allure of the unknown. So after all of this, where does that leave us? Is there really another version of you out there living a different life? Maybe, maybe not. But here's the thing. The possibility alone changes everything. Think about it. If alternate universes exist, it means every choice you've ever made has played out somewhere. Every dream you've had, every risk you didn't take, every what-if moment, it all exists somewhere in the vast multiverse. And if that's true, then what does it say about the life you're living right now? What if we're more connected to these alternate realities than we realize? What if those strange moments, déjà vu, vivid dreams, unexplainable instincts, aren't just random, but glimpses of something bigger? What if the universe isn't just a place but a network of infinite possibilities, all playing out at the same time? One thing's for sure, the more we learn about the universe, the more mysterious it becomes. And whether or not we ever find proof of the multiverse, one thing is undeniable. The search for answers is what makes us human. Because in the end, we aren't just looking for other universes, we're looking to understand our own. The idea of alternate universes is mind-blowing, but what if it's more than just theory? What if every choice, every possibility is playing out somewhere right now? Science is getting closer to unlocking these secrets, so who knows what we'll discover next? If you enjoyed this deep dive into the unknown, make sure to subscribe to InnoVision Tech for more mind-expanding content. Hit that like button, drop a comment, and let's keep exploring the future together. See you in the next one. Hey, welcome back to InnoVision Tech. Have you ever imagined a robot that isn't just made of metal and wires but also living tissue? What if machines could move, heal, and adapt just like humans? It sounds like something from a sci-fi movie, right? Well, biohybrid robots are making that a reality. Today we're diving into the fascinating world where biology meets robotics. So, what could these biohybrids mean for the future? Let's find out! What are biohybrids? Hey, innovators! Have you ever imagined a world where robots aren't just machines but living creatures made from biology and technology? Sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie, right? But here's the crazy part. Biohybrid robots are already being developed today, combining living tissues with synthetic components to create machines that can move, heal, and adapt just like living organisms. It's not just the future, It's happening now. Biohybrids are the fusion of biology and robotics, opening up possibilities that were once unimaginable. Imagine robots that can regenerate like humans or move with fluidity that traditional machines just can't match. This incredible technology is merging the best of both worlds, biology's resilience and robotics' precision, creating something entirely new. So, why is this such a big deal? Because biohybrids could change everything. They could revolutionize industries like medicine, environmental monitoring, and even space exploration. The real question is, are we ready for this new frontier where life and technology meet? Let's dive into the science and see what makes biohybrids so unique, and why they might just be the future of robotics. Stay tuned as we explore how living cells can give robots a whole new level of intelligence and adaptability. The science behind biohybrids. Now let's get into the science. So, how does a robot get alive in the first place? Well, biohybrids are all about combining living cells with synthetic materials, and it's more than just cool technology. It's a whole new way of thinking about machines. Researchers are using muscle cells, often taken from animals, and combining them with soft robotics. These muscle cells are cultured in labs, and then attached to robotic structures made of flexible materials like silicone or hydrogel. The living cells contract and expand, much like our own muscles do, which gives the robots the ability to move. It's a completely different approach from traditional robots, which rely on motors and gears to perform tasks. The result? A robot that can move more like a living creature, smooth, flexible, and much more efficient in tasks that require delicate, human-like movements. Some biohybrids can even adapt to changes in their environment, respond to stimuli like light and touch, and heal themselves when damaged, something that's never been possible with purely mechanical robots. In short, biohybrids are bridging the gap between the biological world and the robotic one, and we're only scratching the surface of what they could do. Imagine robots that learn, heal, and adapt in real time. This is the future of robotics, and it's happening right now. Real-world applications. Alright, now that we know how biohybrids work, let's talk about how they can actually change our world. These robots aren't just theoretical, they're already making waves in several fields, and their potential is limitless. Take healthcare, for example. Imagine a robot that isn't just a machine, but one that can assist with surgeries or rehabilitation by moving just like a human. Biohybrids powered by living muscle tissue could be used in surgeries that require a delicate touch, offering flexibility and precision that traditional robots simply can't match. They could help doctors perform complex procedures with enhanced dexterity, or even assist patients in their recovery by mimicking human movements for physical therapy. But it doesn't stop there. Biohybrids could also revolutionize environmental monitoring. These robots could navigate through harsh and dangerous environments, places that are too risky for humans or traditional machines. Whether it's exploring the deep ocean, trekking through dense forests, or even venturing into outer space, biohybrids could become our eyes and ears in places we'd otherwise never reach. And since they're part biological, they can adapt in ways that purely mechanical robots simply can't. Biohybrids could evolve to survive in changing conditions, making them incredibly useful for long-term missions in extreme environments. It's clear, biohybrids are the future of robotics, with practical applications that can transform industries and change the way we live. Ethical considerations. As exciting as biohybrids are, they come with some serious ethical questions that we need to address. After all, we're not just talking about creating more advanced robots. We're talking about merging biology with machines, blurring the line between life and artificial intelligence. So, let's dive into the big questions. Should biohybrids have rights? What happens when a robot powered by living cells starts to act and respond in ways that resemble life? It's a tricky question, and one that scientists, ethicists, and lawmakers are already grappling with. If these robots can heal themselves, adapt, and perhaps even learn from their surroundings, does that make them more than just machines? Should we treat them as living organisms with their own rights, or should they remain under human control? It's not just about the robots themselves, but about how we, as a society, use them. If biohybrids are designed for medical applications, could they be used to replace human workers in critical care or surgery? How do we ensure that their creation and use don't harm people or the environment? And what about the implications for the workforce? As robots become more advanced, what happens to human jobs? These are important questions that need to be addressed as the field of biohybrid robotics moves forward. It's up to us to establish ethical guidelines that ensure these technologies are used responsibly, balancing the incredible potential with the need for safeguards. The line between life and technology is becoming more blurred, and the ethical implications are as vast as the potential for innovation. The future of biohybrids. So, what's next for biohybrids? Well, the future is incredibly exciting. Imagine robots that not only perform tasks with precision, but also think, feel, and interact with the world in ways that mimic living organisms. Biohybrids could eventually have the ability to sense their environment, adapt to it, and even evolve over time. It's like giving a robot a brain and body that can grow, heal, and learn. Think about robots in space. Biohybrids could become the ultimate companions for astronauts on long-term missions. These robots could adapt to the harsh conditions of space, repair themselves if damaged, and even assist in tasks like navigation, research, or habitat construction. Since they're partly biological, they could evolve to survive in the extreme environments of distant planets or moons. And on Earth, biohybrids could be the key to solving environmental challenges. Imagine robots designed to help clean up polluted areas, using their biological components to adapt and heal, functioning continuously without the need for constant human intervention. In medicine, we could see biohybrid robots that can assist with patient care on a much deeper level. Instead of just performing tasks, they could become empathetic companions, understanding human emotions and needs. These robots might one day be capable of delivering personalized healthcare, understanding a patient's condition by feeling their responses, and acting accordingly. The potential applications are truly limitless, and we're just beginning to scratch the surface. With advancements in tissue engineering, artificial intelligence, and robotics, the possibilities for biohybrids could redefine the way we live, work, and interact with machines. In the near future, we might not just be relying on robots to help us, we might be living side by side with them, creating a harmonious blend of biology and technology that enhances both our lives and theirs. The line between the artificial and the living is disappearing, and it's up to us to shape this exciting future. Thanks for tuning in to InnoVision Tech. Biohybrid robots are just the beginning of a whole new era where biology and technology converge. What do you think? Are we ready for machines that can heal and adapt like living organisms? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss an update on the latest in science and tech. See you in the next video.